Welcome to English Podcast.
Welcome to Simply Explained English, the podcast where we make learning English fun and easy. I'm Lisa and my co-host Eric, and we will be your guides on this language adventure.
Hi everyone! In each episode, we break down common English phrases and words, share example dialogues, and have friendly chats to help you improve your English.
So, grab a cup of tea, relax, and let's get chatting. Okay, Eric, what are the words today?
The first word today is confident. Then we will continue with familiar. And to pay attention to, then be aware of. The final one is to keep an eye on.
Okay, let's proceed with the first word, Eric.
Sure, Lisa. The first word today is confident.
Confident.
Confident is an adjective. Being confident means you believe in yourself. You think you can do things well or succeed. Its noun form is confidence.
Yes, Eric. If you are confident, you feel sure about your abilities or ideas. It's feeling good about what you can do.
For example, he walked into the interview feeling confident and prepared. Or, even though he was nervous, he spoke in a confident tone during his presentation.
Okay, these are great examples, Eric. Let's give an example. Imagine two friends, Mia and Leo, at a talent show.
Leo, your singing is wonderful. Are you ready for the talent show?
Thanks, Mia. I'm feeling pretty confident. I practiced a lot.
Yes, I agree. Leo, you should be confident because you worked hard. I'm sure everyone will love your song.
Nice example, Lisa. In the dialogue, Leo feels confident about his singing because he has practiced a lot.
Mia is also confident in Leo. She believes he will do well.
I agree. Lisa, do you think being confident is always good?
Good question, Eric. Being confident is usually good. But too much confidence might make someone miss mistakes. What do you think? Do you agree with me, Eric?
I completely agree. It's important to be confident, but also to listen and learn from others. Sometimes we can't see our own mistakes when we're too confident.
Yes, exactly, Eric. Also, people like it when someone is confident. It makes them feel sure and safe.
True, Lisa. And if someone is not confident, how can they become more confident?
Good question. Practicing is the key, and like Leo did, learning more and asking for help can also build confidence. What's another way, Eric?
Well, people can feel more confident when they set small goals and reach them. It shows them that they can succeed.
Oh, that's a really good point, Eric. Step by step, right?
Exactly, Lisa. Every little success increases confidence.
Well, folks, remember, being confident is about believing in yourself. Practice, learn, and set goals to increase your confidence.
Thank you for your great advice, Lisa. Let's move on to the next word. The next word we will be talking about is familiar.
Familiar.
Familiar. When something is familiar, it means you know it well because you have seen, heard, or experienced it a lot.
For example, the song on the radio sounded familiar to me. Or, isn't that our old math teacher? He looks familiar.
That's right, Lisa. They are perfect examples. If a place, a person, or a thing is familiar to you, it's not strange or new because you know it.
Let's give our listeners an example of dialogue. Imagine two friends, Tom and Jen, walking in their neighborhood.
This street looks so familiar. Didn't we have a picnic here last year?
Yes, you're right. That's why it's familiar to you. We came here for a picnic last year. It was a fun day.
It feels nice to walk somewhere familiar. Yeah, I remember all these houses.
Me too. It's comforting to be in a place that feels familiar.
That's a good example, Lisa. Tom and Jen found comfort in being somewhere familiar to them.
Exactly, Eric. They knew the place, and it brought back good memories.
Lisa, why do you think people like things that are familiar?
People like familiar things because they feel safe and comfortable. It's nice to know the people and places around us. What do you think, Eric?
I agree. Familiar things give us a sense of security. Being in a familiar place or with familiar people can make us feel happy.
Yes, and sometimes trying new things is good too. But it's always nice to have something familiar around.
Definitely, Lisa. Sometimes, even if something isn't familiar at first, when we experience it more, it will become more familiar to us.
Right, Eric. So, listeners, don't worry if something seems unfamiliar at first. With time and experience, it can become familiar and comfortable.
Exactly, Lisa. Let's look at our next word now. The next word is to pay attention to.
To pay attention to.
To pay attention to. It means that when you pay attention to something, you focus on it carefully. It means you're not thinking about other things around you. You're focusing on that one thing.
Like giving something our full concentration and not letting you think about anything else.
Absolutely. For example, when you're in class, it's important to pay attention to the teacher to understand the lesson.
Yes, that's a great example, Eric. And here's a sample dialogue to help our listeners understand better. Imagine a teacher, Mr. Adams, talking to his student, Lily, in class.
Lily, are you paying attention to the lesson?
Sorry, Mr. Adams. I was daydreaming. I'll pay more attention now.
It's important to pay attention in class. That way, you can learn and understand the material better.
I understand, Mr. Adams. I'm sorry about that. From now on, I'll focus on and pay attention to your lessons.
In this dialogue, Mr. Adams notices that Lily isn't focusing, so he reminds her to pay attention.
Exactly, Eric. Paying attention is important, especially in school, as Mr. Adams said. It helps us to learn and understand new things.
Lisa, why do you think paying attention can sometimes be hard?
Good question, Eric. Sometimes we find something else more interesting. But it's important to do something to pay attention. What helps you pay attention, Eric?
I find that taking notes helps me stay focused. It keeps my mind from wandering. And you, Lisa, how do you make sure to pay attention?
Removing distractions is key for me. I put my phone away and find a quiet place to concentrate better.
Those are great tips, Lisa. Being active in what we're doing, like taking notes or asking questions, can also make it easier to pay attention.
Absolutely, Eric. And remember, everyone, to pay attention is a skill. With practice, it can be better and help us in every aspect of life. Okay, is our next word be aware of, Eric?
Yes, Lisa. The next word is be aware of.
Be aware of.
Be aware of. If you are aware of something, it means you know about it, you understand or are aware that it is there.
Being aware of something can also mean you're paying attention to it because you think it's important.
For example, you should be aware of the traffic rules when driving. Or were you aware of the risks at the time?
Okay, let's look at an example of a dialogue. Imagine two students, Ben and Sarah, talking in the library.
Have you heard about the new study group for math?
No, I wasn't aware of it. When did they start it?
They started it last week. I'm aware of how tough math has been for us. So I thought it might help us.
That sounds great. Thanks for making me aware of it. I'll attend the next session.
In this dialogue, Sarah was not aware of the new study group until Ben told her about it.
Yes, and Ben was aware of Sarah's troubles with math, so he shared the information with her.
Lisa, why do you think being aware of things is important?
You make better decisions if you are aware of things around you. Like in our example, Sarah can now join the study group and get help. What do you think, Eric?
I agree, Lisa. Also, being aware can help us to be more understanding and helpful to others, like Ben was to Sarah. Can people become better at being aware of things?
Good question, Eric. Yes, people can improve by paying more attention to what's happening around them and asking questions. Getting more information makes us more aware. How about you, Eric? Do you have tips on how to be more aware?
I think listening carefully and not judging right away is very helpful. If we pay attention to what is happening around us, we can become more aware of our surroundings. So we can be more aware of what people might need or feel.
That's a great answer, Eric. Being aware of things not only helps us, but it can also improve other people's lives.
It's true, Lisa. And remember, being aware of different things can make life easier and more interesting.
Thanks for listening to our explanation and example of aware of. We hope you are now more aware of how to use this phrase. Okay, what is our last word today, Eric?
The last word today is to keep an eye on.
To keep an eye on?
To keep an eye on. It means to watch someone or something carefully. You make sure that they are safe. Or you do this to make sure everything is okay or nothing bad happens. That's a handy phrase we use when we want to watch or control something closely.
It's not just with your eyes, but also making sure you are aware of what's happening with that thing or person.
Yes, Lisa. For example, I need to keep an eye on my finances to make sure I don't spend too much. Or, please keep an eye on my bag while I go to the restroom.
Let's use an example dialogue so that our listeners can understand better. Imagine Paul is talking to his neighbor, Mrs. Green, about her cat.
Mrs. Green, I noticed your cat loves to play outside a lot.
Yes, he does. But I always make sure to keep an eye on him so he doesn't wander off too far.
That's good. I'll also keep an eye on him when I'm out in the garden. We don't want him to get lost.
Thank you, Paul. I appreciate your help.
In this dialogue, Mrs. Green is watching her cat closely to make sure he's safe, and Paul offers to help watch the cat too.
Yes, and they both want to be sure the cat is safe and secure by keeping an eye on him.
Lisa, why do you think it's important to keep an eye on something or someone?
Keeping an eye on something can prevent accidents or problems. It's about caring and being responsible. What about you, Eric? Can you think of a time when you had to keep an eye on something?
Oh yes, when I babysit my little cousin, I have to keep an eye on him all the time. Kids are curious and can get into trouble easily.
That's a great example, Eric. It shows how keeping an eye on someone helps keep them safe.
And it's not just about watching, but being ready to act if something goes wrong.
True. It's about being proactive and attentive. So everyone remembers that to keep an eye on is to watch over carefully.
Thanks for joining us to learn about to keep an eye on. We hope you enjoyed our examples and discussion.
Before we sign off, we want to remind you to keep practicing these words and phrases we've discussed today. The more you use them, the more natural they'll become in your everyday conversations.
That's right, Lisa. And if you have any questions or suggestions for future episodes, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you.
So until next time, keep learning, keep practicing, and keep listening to Simply Explained English with Lisa and Eric. Bye for now.
Take care, everyone.
Hi there, and welcome back to Simply Explained English for easy language learning. I am Amber.
And I am Eric. Hey, everyone. We're here to make English simple and fun for you.
Today, we're talking about some words you hear a lot.
That's right, Amber. So, sit tight, relax, and let's dive into our words together.
Okay, Eric, what are the words today?
The first word today is brave. Then, we will continue with to be confused, and to encourage, then to hang out, and the final one is long time no see.
Okay, Eric, let's start with our first word.
The first word is brave.
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 Brave. That sounds like a strong word.
Yes, Amber. Brave is an important word. It means having the courage to do something that might be scary or difficult. Being brave doesn't mean you're not afraid. It means you do something even if you're afraid.
That's a nice explanation. It's like climbing a tall tree even though you're scared of heights. That's being brave.
Exactly, Amber. Now, let's see how we can use it in a dialogue.
I'm not sure if I can speak up during the meeting. They might not like it.
Don't worry. You have great ideas. You just need to be brave and share them with the team.
Maybe you're right. I need to be brave and trust in myself.
That's a great example, Eric. John supports Rosa by saying that you should be brave because you have great ideas.
Exactly. It's a good way to show that being brave can help people trust themselves and overcome their fears. Amber, can you remember a time when you had to be brave?
Yes, once I had to give a speech in front of my whole school. I was very nervous, but decided to be brave and do it anyway. It went well, and I was proud of myself. How about you, Eric?
Well, I had to be brave when I went bungee jumping for the first time. It made me nervous, but I decided to face my fear. It was a wonderful experience. Do you think being brave is important, Amber?
Definitely. Being brave helps us to experience new things and overcome our fears.
I agree. Being brave is important for personal development and for helping others. Everyone can be brave over time.
Okay, Eric, I hope everyone feels a little more ready to be brave in their everyday lives. Thanks for such a good discussion.
My pleasure, Amber. And let's move on to the next word. The next word is to be confused.
To be confused.
To be confused.
To be confused describes a feeling. If you are not sure what is happening, or if you don't understand something. It's like when you read a book and you don't understand the story, or when someone gives you directions, but you still don't know where to go.
Exactly, Amber. Being confused is completely normal, especially when we're learning new things. Let's use it in a dialogue. Suppose two friends, Mary and Brian, are trying to choose which movie to watch.
I'm feeling really confused about which movie to watch tonight.
Why are you confused?
Well, there are so many options, and I can't decide which one I want to see.
That's understandable. Sometimes having too many choices can leave us feeling confused.
That's a great example, Eric. Brian and Mary were confused because they had many options.
Yes, they were. The example shows how we use the word confused in everyday conversations. Amber, have you ever been confused, and how did you deal with it?
Oh, all the time. When I'm confused, especially when learning something new, I try to break the information into smaller parts or ask someone for help. What about you, Eric?
Similar to you, I ask questions to clear up my confusion or use the internet to find more information. It's important to remember that it's okay to ask for help when you're confused.
Wise words, Eric. Well, it seems like we've covered the word to be confused quite well. Shall we move on to the next word?
Sure, Amber. Let's continue helping our listeners improve their English one word at a time.
So what is the next word, Eric?
The next word is to encourage.
To encourage.
To encourage.
To encourage is a very positive action. It means to give someone support, confidence, or hope.
That's right, Amber. Encouraging someone can make a big difference in how they deal with a problem. For example, if a friend is feeling nervous or anxious, we might say, "You can do it," or "I believe in you," to encourage them.
I see. Let's use it in a dialogue, Eric.
Hi, Emma. I've noticed that you haven't been doing your best in class lately. Is there anything going on that I should know about?
I just don't feel very confident in myself.
I understand how you feel, Emma. But don't worry. I believe in you. You're smart and hardworking. I encourage you to keep trying and ask for help if you need it.
Thank you for encouraging me, Miss Lewis. That makes me feel a little better.
I thought it was a useful example, Eric. The teacher helped increase Emma's confidence.
Oh yes, Amber. Supporting each other is important, especially when someone feels bad. Let's switch places now, Amber. What would you say to Emma if you were her teacher?
Well, as a teacher, I would try to find out why Emma doesn't feel confident and help her with that. Also, if she needed it, I would give her more tools or extra help. When things go wrong, I would also encourage her to keep going and not give up.
You make a good point. Sometimes, just giving some positive feedback to someone about his hard work can be very motivating.
I agree. So, what would you say to Emma if you were her friend, Eric?
As Emma's friend, I would also help her feel better by telling her what she does well and what skills she has. I would also listen to her if she wants to talk about her worries or fears.
Well said, Eric. I think we've covered the word to encourage quite well. Shall we move on to the next word?
Yes, let's move on to the next word. The next word is to hang out.
To hang out.
To hang out.
That's a cool word. What does to hang out mean?
First, it is a phrasal verb. It means to spend time with someone in a relaxed or informal way, often without any specific plans or activities.
I see. So, it's like being together with friends or people you like.
Exactly. It's when you're just enjoying being together with your friend, whether you're watching movies, chatting, or simply being together.
Okay, now let's dive into an example dialogue to see how it's used.
Hey Tom, how have you been?
Sarah? Good to see you too. I've been busy with work, but miss hanging out with friends. What about you?
Same here. Let's catch up this weekend. How about grabbing coffee at our favorite spot?
Sounds perfect. I'd love to hang out and chat.
That was a simple and nice example. So Tom and Anna are going to spend time together at the park.
Yes, they plan to enjoy each other's company.
Eric, when do you usually hang out with your friends?
I usually hang out with them on weekends. We sometimes go to the cinema or just walk in the park. What about you, Amber?
I like to hang out at a cafe and chat with my friends. It's relaxing.
That sounds lovely. Do you think it's important to hang out with friends?
Yes, it's very important. It helps us feel happy and connected.
I agree. Sharing moments with friends can make great memories.
Do you have a favorite place where you like to hang out?
Yes, I love going to the beach. It's calm and fun. And you, Amber?
I enjoy hanging out at my friend's house. We watch movies and cook together.
That sounds like a lot of fun. So guys, remember to spend time and hang out with people you care about. It's good for you.
Yes, and it makes life more enjoyable. Well, that's all for to hang out. Let's move on to our last word.
The last word is long time no see.
Long time no see?
Long time no see.
Oh, that's a fun one. How would you explain long time no see, Eric?
Long time no see is what you say when you haven't seen someone for a while. It means it has been a long time since you last met.
That makes sense. So, it's like saying it's been a long time since we last met.
Sure, Amber.
Can we have an example dialogue where this phrase is used?
Here it is.
Sarah, long time no see. How have you been?
Mike, it's so good to see you. I've been great, thanks. How about yourself?
I'm doing well too. We should catch up more often.
I agree. Let's not let it be a long time before we see each other again.
That's a very friendly and warm conversation. It really shows how long time no see is used.
Yes, it's great to see an old friend again and show that you're glad to see them.
Eric, when was the last time you got to say long time no see to someone?
I said it to a college friend I ran into last month. We hadn't seen each other in years. What about you, Amber?
I said it just last week when I saw my cousin who lives abroad. It had been so long, and it was really nice to reconnect. Why do you think it's important to reconnect with people?
I think it's important because it keeps our relationships strong and reminds us of good times. Plus, it's nice to catch up and see how people have changed.
Absolutely. It's special to share old memories and make new ones. Have you ever been surprised by how much someone has changed?
Yes, definitely. Sometimes people change careers or move to new places. It makes the catch-up even more interesting. Amber, do you think it's easy to continue a friendship after a long break?
It depends on the friendship, but most of the time, with real friends, time doesn't matter. It's like you can pick up where you left off.
That's a beautiful thing about strong friendships. Well, it looks like we've covered long time no see pretty well. Thanks for the insightful conversation, Amber.
You're welcome, Eric. And thanks to everyone for listening. Remember to reconnect with friends and say, "Long time no see." It might just make your day. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Simply Explained English. We hope you enjoyed learning about the phrase "long time no see" and found our conversation helpful.
Absolutely. Remember, if you have any words or phrases you'd like us to explain in future episodes, feel free to reach out to us.
You can leave us a comment or send us a message. We'd love to hear from you.
Stay tuned for more episodes where we break down English words and phrases to make learning fun and easy.
Until next time, keep practicing your English, and remember, learning a new language is always an adventure.
Bye for now, everyone.
Bye.